What's up guys, Lewis here from Indiecredible, and as always bringing you the wrap up of every indie game releasing on your console this week. This week is a genuinely brilliant week for indie games, and we honestly think that some of the games releasing this week will still be in talks at the end of the year when it comes to Indie Game of the Year chat. But before we go into spoiler territory, let's dive into the games. Up first, we have Crossing Souls. Crossing Souls is about as 80s as a game that you can get. Even better, this nostalgic adventure is actually set in the 80s, 1986 to be precise. The story follows Chris, Matt, Charlie, Big Joe and Kevin, who after finding a mysterious pink stone find themselves caught up in the middle of a government conspiracy. With each of these quirky characters offering their own set of skills, you will need to switch between them on the fly to solve puzzles, defeat enemies and overcome some pretty sick looking bosses. With more 80s references than a Wham album and a visual style that rivals that of the best classics, Crossing Souls looks to be a great nostalgic adventure when it releases on PS4 on the 13th of February. A demo is available now on PlayStation for Crossing Souls.
They're not what you think they are. They're not what you think they are.
The full Unbound Part 2 is developers' over-the-moon sequel to the 2014 award-winning The Fall. Part 2 continues Arid's journey through a dystopian future, but with over 4 times more content than its predecessor, there's even more futuristic sci-fi gameplay to sink your teeth into. Just like the original, gameplay is made up of both combat and puzzles, but the puzzles here are more challenging than you'd expect from most games, and you can continue your journey into the full Unbound Part 2 when it releases on PS4, Xbox One and Nintendo Switch on the 13th of February.
Do you have any idea what could happen if an AI became unbound?
I have gathered here today the galaxy's most skilled contestants to compete for your viewing pleasure. Did they come here for vengeance?
This year has already seen some great titles released on PSVR, and Sprint Vector looks to be another one of those titles, although it doesn't look for the faint-hearted. Best seen as a futuristic sprint simulator, Sprint Vector challenges you to run, jump, drift, climb, shoot, dodge and fly your way to victory in the galaxy's best and upcoming ultra-fast sport. With a huge emphasis on fluid locomotion and travelling between multi-dimensional races, it will be interesting to see how developers Servius handle the motion sickness within the game. Sprint Vector is releasing on PSVR on the 13th of February.
Baby! Homie, this is my day! Win, lose, as long as we get the ratings.
Owlboy originally released back in November last year on PC, but we're now happy to see it's making its way to consoles. This stunning pixel adventure game took a whopping 10 years to finish and wowed both critics and players when it initially released. The story-driven adventure sees you playing as Otis, who with being a mute struggles with the expectations of owlhood. To make matters even worse for Otis, sky pirates have now invaded his lands. Embarking on this adventure with Otis will see you travelling through some of the most gorgeous environments we've ever seen and meet some of the most quirkiest characters we've ever met, any of who can join you in your quest to overcome the sky pirates. Owlboy is releasing on PS4, Xbox One and Nintendo Switch on the 13th of February.
Your Graces, I have to tell you in all seriousness that this land of ours is in the shit. Deep fucking shit.
I'll find the one who did this to you.
I remember his face. Oh, fuck.
Since its hugely successful Kickstarter campaign back in 2015, where Kingdom Come Deliverance managed to raise a huge £1 million, it's fair to say the game has been eagerly awaited by fans and critics alike, and now it's finally here. Set amidst the middle of a brutal civil war, you play as Henry, the son of a local blacksmith. But due to the war-torn nature of Bohemia, Henry's village is invaded and almost everyone is killed by order of an invading army, including his family. With no home, no family, and very little to his name, Henry seeks refuge with Lord Radzig Kobula, who is forming a resistance against the invasion. Kingdom Come Deliverance plays out in a hugely detailed open world where tasks and missions can be solved in a multitude of ways. It should be mentioned, combat here is pretty brutal, with the ability to dismember limbs and serve up decapitations on a regular basis. But this brutality only fits in perfectly with the gritty nature of the game. Kingdom Come Deliverance is a must-play for any Skyrim or open world game fans, and can be picked up on the 13th of February when it releases on PS4 and Xbox One.
You didn't want me fighting. Now look at me. Standing up to evil isn't the same as sowing its seeds. You did what was right.
PopUp Pilgrims is best seen as lemmings in virtual reality. This rather cute looking puzzle game offers over 50 levels to play through, all of which completely wrap around the player in a glorious 2D artwork design. To pass a stage, you'll simply need to guide your pilgrims to the exit, but with continuously changing environments and evil demons blocking your path, this task won't be as easy as it first sounded. PopUp Pilgrims is releasing on PSVR on the 13th of February. Although Pinstripe may carry a charming art style, it's actually a dark and emotional adventure game through the depths of hell. Playing as Teddy, you must venture further into the frozen underworld in search of your daughter Bo and her perverse kidnapper. While on this dark adventure, Teddy will need to overcome various puzzles, defeat various enemies, all while confronting his own demonic nemesis, Mr. Pinstripe. Pinstripe is a thought-provoking adventure game that is fueled along by a brilliant soundtrack. What's even more impressive is that everything in Pinstripe was created by just one person, Thomas Brush. This one-man made game took 5 years to develop and can be played from the 13th of February when it releases on PS4. Pinstripe also released on Xbox last week.
Wake up, Daddy. We're sleepwalking again.
The longest 5 minutes is a throwback to classic Zelda games in terms of its presentation and gameplay, but it takes a bit more of a unique approach to its story. You actually start the game with the final boss, the formidable Demon King, in a battle that will take all of 5 minutes, that's in-game minutes. Unfortunately, the stress and tension of this battle has meant that our hero has forgotten all of the memories of his adventure. Battling the Demon King will prompt playable flashbacks that not only give you more insight into why you are fighting the Demon King, but also on how to overcome him. The longest 5 minutes is releasing on Nintendo Switch on the 13th of February.
Fucking asswipe.
Let me tell you what I think about that.
See who's here?
If you hadn't already guessed it from the title, Super Seducer is literally a game about seducing women. Giving you the option to seduce in either a coffee shop, park, bar or other locations, the game challenges you to actually make conversational decisions, all in the hope to get the girl. That's their words and not mine. Scenes play out in live action FMV fashion, and you'll even receive feedback from seducing guru himself, Richard Le Ruina. Yes, that's actually a job. This no doubt sleazy dating sim is releasing on PS4 on the 14th of February. The Story Goes On is a unique take on the classic hack and slash by throwing you into an unfinished book of a crazed author. Progressing through the randomly generated worlds will see you delving into dungeons and taking on epic bosses, all with over 50 items to help you build your hero how you choose. The Story Goes On looks to be a nostalgic hack and slash game through an intriguing story, and can be played on the 14th of February when it releases on Xbox One. Tork UL takes a very simplistic puzzle idea and delivers it in a quick and addictive level-based system. You're challenged with rolling a multicoloured cube through platform-inspired levels, extending your leverage depending on what obstacle you face. Tork UL offers 50 chambers to play through, with 7 easy routes and 1 pretty hard secret route to find. Tork UL is releasing on Nintendo Switch on the 15th of February. Xeodrifter is a retro-inspired 2D platformer with a big emphasis on both survival and exploration. After an interstellar drifter is involved in a space-travelling accident, they are forced to search nearby planets for energy resources. What starts as a simple fix-it mission soon turns into a fight to survive, and not an easy one. Xeodrifter looks to offer everything we'd expect from classic platformers: handy power-ups, slick platforming, and of course the tough old bosses. Xeodrifter is coming to Nintendo Switch on the 15th of February.
Through the high pines and the whispers of the forest, it was said when the dangers came, a new cry could be heard, the song of a cub.
The final indie game hitting our consoles this week is one of the most anticipated indie games of the year. The adorable exploration game Fee was originally announced during Nintendo's Direct last year. You play as the rather cute dragon-like creature Fee, who must explore the atmospheric Nordic forest, all in search of hidden passages, old ruins, and a new language in the form of roars. These new roars allow you to interact with different wildlife scattered throughout the mystic forest. Although not much has been shared around the overall story or narrative of Fee, there's no doubt it looks to be a stunning exploration game and worth diving into when it releases on PS4, Xbox One and Nintendo Switch on the 16th of February.
To fly and to fly. Do you hear her? Can you hear the forest speak?
That wraps up another week of indie games hitting your consoles. As we said at the beginning, there are some brilliant games releasing this week. Both Fee and Kingdom Come Deliverance featured in our 10 games to look out for in 2018, and we cannot wait to get our hands on them. If you want to hear what we've been playing or keep up to date with the latest indie game news, why not check out the Indie Credible podcast? And to keep up to date with all things indie games, make sure you subscribe and check out indie-credible.com.